Hi, my name is Tiara Bentley, and I'm working on a professional portfolio for College for America assignment. This is the portion of the project where I would need to do an interview, and my daughter will be assisting me today.
So tell me about yourself.
Well, I've started off in the healthcare industry when I was about 19 years old. I started off being a medical assistant, decided that I liked doing more office-based work versus more clinical work. I got hired on at Anthem. I quickly moved up the ladder, initially started off in the claims department. Was promoted to a team lead. From there, was promoted to a supervisor. From being a supervisor, promoted to being a manager. Part of my job is managing vendor relationships. I credit a lot of this to, just being detailed with my current work experience and holding on to some of the knowledge and some of the related skills that I've learned as my throughout my tenure at Anthem.
Tell me about your past work experience.
So part of my past work experience in managing staff, I was a supervisor over a claims department where I managed 15 claim reps. They varied from different tiers, which would be from 1 to 3, which would kind of say what their skill level is and how they process claims. So I have a strong claims background. I am just now entering into the world of being a manager, so you know, just getting used to managing that portion of the job where you're currently dealing with managing staff versus managing a provider network.
Tell me about a time when you had too many things to do and had to prioritize your tasks.
Let me think of a situation. The end of the year is very challenging for us. Towards the end of the year, we have to prepare for AEP, where we would train our whole provider network with what the new Medicare benefits will be. And in training the whole provider network, some of the tasks that we would have to do is create PowerPoints, set up training, provide them with training materials for them to send to their downstream entities. We would have to monitor them for their call center, get stats from them, make sure that they have the right amount of staff to cover their phones, make sure they have the right amount of staff to cover their claims processing. It's a whole involved process during the time where we do AEP, and AEP is, if I didn't mention it earlier, is the annual enrollment period for Medicare. And that's when we get all of new enrollees to sign up with the plan. And with my current position in managing the vendors and their downstream, I have to ensure that our vendors are also prepared for the volume of new and potential members that they would have to service. We've had some pretty good results during AEP. Some of the results are, it's very trying because we have to make sure that they have adequate phone and staff available to possibly or potentially increase their membership by 10,000. So we just need to make sure that everything is successful during the time period, because it's a short amount of time where membership increases, and we just got to make sure that everyone's prepared to handle the volumes.
Tell me about a time when you had to go above and beyond the call of duty. How did you handle the situation?
Let's see. I know. So again, during the AEP, which is the annual enrollment period for Medicare, there are times where our operational hours are Monday through Friday. But during this time, there may be a time where we may need to extend our hours, where I may need to take some work home. There may be times where I may need to go into the office just to make sure that we are prepared for distribution for, in any provider communications that they may need to send out. We have, last year was the first time that we actually had to work over the weekend. So that was a time where I had to go above and beyond, working not the normal 40 hours, but maybe working 60 hours a week just for a couple of months straight, so that we can ensure that, we are ready for go live for the enrollment period for Medicare.
Tell me about a time when you work effectively under pressure.
So I'll just keep going with the same task, describing the annual enrollment period for Medicare, because that is a huge project and it's a heavy lift, and it's something that happens every year with our enrollees. It's basically the bread of our business that keeps us fed, and it keeps us, the doors open and the memberships keep coming in, and it, rolls throughout our system. So I don't work alone. I do work with a team. I do have a small team which consists of 2 project managers. So basically we have to collaborate on a lot of our projects that we work on to ensure that we are supporting the business need, which would impact our downstream. So having to work under pressure, I consider working under pressure where there may be a time where I need to work with, our potential vendors, and they're not meeting our deadlines or turnaround times. And there may be a time where I'm having to reach out, phone calls, email communications, trying to ensure that we have the items that we've needed so that we can be successful. I do recall a time where there was a task that needed to be completed and it had a certain deadline. And as the deadline was approaching, the vendor was not being very responsive. So what we had to do was we end up getting in contact, holding a meeting with the vendor, and end up placing the vendor on a corrective action so that we can ensure that they will provide on-time performance of their reports, so that we do not have any internal delays in implementing any AEP business.
Give me an example of a time when you show initiative.
So on a daily, I have to take the initiative. I have to be the one who would stand up and say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. Let me stand in the paint and get things done. So a time where I would have to take the initiative, basically, if I feel like the project is not going to be moving on time or on task, then what I would do is I would get my team together. Let's sit down, let's talk, let's brainstorm to make sure that we have don't have any gaps in our process, and make sure that we are fulfilling the request and of the business needs. So me taking an initiative is getting my team together before any issue may occur, so that I can ensure that things get done, deadlines are met, and processes get complete, implementation starts, because ultimately that responsibility is held in my shop, and I want to ensure that we are meeting the business needs for our internal business partners as well as our external business partners.
Is there anything else you would like us to know about you?
No, I can. One thing I would like to say is that I have enjoyed working on this project. It's been very fulfilling. I don't think there's anything extra that I would like to say about me personally. I just want to thank you for your time in reviewing this, and hope that I can pass this assessment. Thank you.